I had originally planned on doing this before the decade came to its conclusion, but obviously that didn't happen, so here we go. The list itself was way more difficult than I thought it would be, not so much because there weren't any good games, but because I found it hard to pick one for each year, especially with some of the awesome releases we've seen over the last 10 years. Please remember, this is my opinion only. Majority of the titles I'm going to mention featured in various Game of the Year votings or gained praise from plenty of others, so I know it can seem a little biased, but just remember this isn't me telling you that your opinion is invalid or wrong. These are just the games that stuck out the most or I look back on often. Oh, and forewarning that I've never owned an Xbox, so this list will be PlayStation or multi-platform titles only. Sorry, Microsoft. Starting off in 2010, it was my first year of university, and the one game I still look back on is Red Dead Redemption. The ending to this game still gets recommended to me on YouTube every now and then, and I will watch it every time. The story of John Marston trying to redeem himself from the crimes of his past was one that kept me invested from beginning to end. Other worthwhile mentions for this year are Fallout New Vegas, an awesome title which would go on to become one of the series' beloved, and probably the last actually good one, and God of War 3, an epic conclusion to Kratos' saga. 2011, Arrow to the Knee. Got Skyrim for Christmas. That Christmas break, if I wasn't working or sleeping, I was playing Skyrim. A game I sunk a crazy amount of time into, and if it wasn't for the issues the PS3 had with the game, I think I probably would have kept playing it a lot longer. Honourable mentions for this year were Uncharted 3, again, a fitting conclusion to the Nathan Drake story. 2012 saw a lot of great games, with my pick being Far Cry 3. I know the formula has now been done to death, with the whole Ubisoft tower itself even becoming a bit of a meme, but the scene where you pull up to the marijuana fields with a flamethrower and Skrillex's Make It Bundem comes on is one that will cement itself as one of the greatest gaming moments of my life. Runners-up for this year are the incredible co-op experience Borderlands 2 and one of my favourite Call of Duties, Black Ops 2. 2013, Naughty Dog smashed it out of the park with The Last of Us. I know not everybody loved it, and that's okay, I respect that. I loved the slow pace, the haunting atmosphere, and the gritty reality of it all. The sequel cannot come soon enough. Runners-up for 2013 go to Grand Theft Auto 5, which is still topping the charts 6 years later, and Bioshock Infinite for its incredible storytelling and pretty crazy gameplay mechanics. 2014 was hard, not because there were too many games, but because it's the year I got my PS4, and a time where I look back and all I see is Destiny. So for that reason, Destiny is my favourite game of 2014. Not for that reason alone. I mean, I did spend countless hours grinding the game with friends. I will never forget the first time we cleared the Vault of Glass together. While Bungie have dropped the ball a few times with Destiny, and the community has been let down over and over and over again, they've recently regained a bit of their stride, and the separation from Activision has kind of helped. 2015, another tough choice, but this year goes to Bloodborne. My initial thoughts of the game were that it sucked, I was too frustrated, and I decided that I wasn't going to be playing the game. But I kept at it, and eventually it turned into a love of the series and places Bloodborne firmly within the ranks of the best game of this generation. The 2015 runner-up goes to Metal Gear Solid 5, a game myself and many others were incredibly excited for, and while the gameplay was absolutely incredible, the story ended up lacking, with the entry adding basically nothing to the canonical storyline of the Metal Gear universe. I know it's still a debate whether or not that was Konami or Kojima's fault, but either way, it was still a fun game to play. 2016, another fantastic year for gaming on my PS4. My pick, Overwatch, a game I played religiously for almost a year. I have since ascended to the PC Master Race, and it remains one of my most played games to date. An awesome hero shooter played best with friends who aren't looking to be too competitive. A toxic community, but it's to be expected in a hero shooter. It's also a pretty fun game to watch, with the Overwatch League being a go-to of mine on Twitch, soon to be YouTube gaming. Runners up this year were Uncharted 4, with its continuation of the once thought concluded Nathan Drake storyline, and Dark Souls 3. After diving into Bloodborne the year before, I knew I'd have to give Dark Souls a go, and playing Dark Souls 3 with some friends was an awesome experience. 2017 was the year of Horizon Zero Dawn. Guerrilla Games delivered one of the best experiences of the generation, which still blows my mind considering they'd come off of the back of the Killzone series, which was in no way known for its revolutionary storytelling. Hunting mechanical dinosaurs in a mysterious post-apocalypse was incredible, and it's definitely one I'd recommend picking up if you haven't played it yet. With rumours of a PC port coming soon, there's even more reason to jump in. Runner-up for 2017 goes to Resident Evil 7. Who can forget that incredible reveal trailer at E3, surprising absolutely everyone, even throwing in a cheeky demo available for everyone to play the same day.
Never.
Seven silent.
2018 was a massive year for gaming. God of War tops my list, coming through with a sequel nobody saw coming in a completely new environment and gameplay style. Changing the system from a standard hack and slash set in ancient Greece to a third-person action RPG set in the Norse mythology was a risky move that 100% paid off. Again, if you haven't given this a go, what the fuck is wrong with you? Go buy this game, rent this game, borrow this game, sell your liver for this game. Whatever you gotta do, play this game. Runners up are also fantastic titles, with Red Dead 2 being a great, albeit very long adventure through the Old West, and Fortnite. Yes, Fortnite. The game everyone loves to hate. I only mention Fortnite as it was one of the games I played the most after it released on PS4, and I had a ton of fun playing it. I don't play it now though because it sucks. It has nothing to do with the fact that the skill gap grew exponentially, and me not playing for a few weeks caused me to miss out on some sort of evolutionary period in the game where everyone learned how to crank 90s and edit the fuck out of me. No, that's not why at all. Last year shouldn't be any surprise which game tops my list. The last video I uploaded was a review for Death Stranding, where I mentioned it had become my new favourite game of all time. An astonishing journey from Kojima told in the most bizarre and confusing way possible. Like I mentioned in my review, I can't recommend it for everyone, but if you wanted to get a better idea for why I loved it, just watch my review. I'll put one of those fancy annotation things in now. Runner-up for last year goes to Resident Evil 2. Watching my dad play the Resident Evil games when I was a kid are some of my earliest gaming memories, and I'm not ashamed to admit I never really played them a lot myself out of pure fear. Something about the tanky movement and never knowing what was going to be around the corner due to the weird camera angles just kept me way too on edge to ever push through. Resident Evil 2 is what all remakes should aspire to be, and it has helped introduce or reintroduce a lot of people to what Resident Evil was all about. The terror of a zombie apocalypse and the fear of being hunted by Mr. X. Don't even get me started on Nemesis and the RE3 remake that's coming this year. I am definitely looking forward to everything about that game. So, there it is. My top games of the last decade. It's weird looking back on all of these and remembering how much fun I had playing through them. The dramatic ending to Red Dead Redemption, my PS3 struggling to run Skyrim, getting the wingsuit in Far Cry 3, the emotional shotgun to the gut from the opening of The Last of Us. An EXO telling myself and Peter Dinklage she doesn't have time to explain why there's no time to explain. Killing Father Gascoigne on my 52nd attempt, getting my first gold weapon in Overwatch, reading all of the collectibles in Horizon, that moment in God of War and finally reaching the final credits in Death Stranding, genuinely floored by what I had just spent 45 hours of my life experiencing. Some people play games to relieve stress, socialize, or get away from whatever might be happening in their lives. Some people play games for the experience, the desire to get better, or the grind toward a goal. Whatever reason you game, I hope you also had an incredible decade, and I hope you're looking forward to the next 10 years as much as I am. Oh, and I should probably play more indie games, so I think I'm gonna make that like a... Can you do a decade resolution? I don't know.
Hey, you want to meet some friends of mine?